Hey everyone, thank you for tuning back into my YouTube channel. Today I'd like to do an episode for my playlist, the Rig It series, and that's really where I just go over how to rig a certain bait or jig head or plastic so that you get the maximum performance out of it and catch more fish. Today we're going to talk about a new jig head to the Buckeye Lures line. It's called the Hoverrig. And the Hoverrig per se isn't generally new to the fishing industry. It's been around for a year or so, maybe 2 years, and it has quite a following. This jig head is quite unique. The design of this is so that the soft plastic or whatever you put on there has an erratic fall. It's kind of like a jigging spoon in that when you rip it up, each time it falls, it just falls a different way, and that is definitely a trigger for fish that are following a bait or something like that. Whenever something has an erratic action, it looks like it's trying to do some sort of an evasive maneuver. So I feel like that's a big draw for this type of jig head and why anglers like this. It's got a little bitty wire weed guard on there, kind of a light wire hook. And then essentially you have in this jig head part, on this jig head part, you have this kind of internal weight that has these ridges so that the bait stays locked in position. And then you have this little nose that actually helps hold the bait in place. But what you end up doing with this is you make it so that your bait has an internal weight. And whenever you have an internal weight, the bait operates different than if you have a traditional jig head. So what I have here is just a kind of a generic soft plastic minnow type bait, which is where I feel like most anglers are going to probably want to apply this type of Hoverrig jig. I'm going to take the jig head and kind of put it parallel to it and kind of see where it would line up, like where the eye would protrude or come out of the soft plastic, where the head would stick in and where the hook would pop out. It gives me kind of a mental note on the body of where things are going to happen. So I'm going to go ahead and start running the hook into the body and then sliding that up as straight as possible all the way on. You may want to wet this lead piece here because it makes it a little bit easier to shove the plastic up over it. Get it up going like this, run it up against the eye like that, and then you're going to want to put this soft plastic nose over top of that lead nose. And so grab it which way is easiest and pull. I pull on it like this and then kind of jab that into the nose of the jerkbait and pull down, get everything as straight as possible. And then you're going to have to kind of work it around a little bit. And essentially this is what you have. You have this internal weighted jig head, little finesse type minnow type bait. And when you have this rigged up properly like this, as straight as can be, it's going to operate and fall in a very erratic manner that I was discussing earlier, and that's going to get you some strikes from fish that are following it that probably wouldn't bite otherwise. The little weed guard does a great job of keeping stuff off of the hook. The 90-degree eye also is important for maximizing the action on this type of application. But that's how you rig a Hoverrig jig head. Really the way that this bait has kind of gained popularity, or this jig head has gained popularity with guys fishing minnow type baits. This is a lightweight jig head. This one particularly is a 3/32. They have some different sizes, but they generally line up on the light side of things, say 16th, 8th, 3/16, 3/32, and stuff like that, maybe 3/64. And that's it, really, how to rig the Hoverrig. Pretty interesting little application for your soft plastic baits. Check those out. Brand new from Buckeye Lures. Feel like it's, obviously super finesse, so it's going to get you some bites. Hey, thank you for tuning into the YouTube channel. That's the old Hoverrig and how to rig it in your soft plastic jerk baits. If you're not aware, I have a merch line, Team Niggemeyer Fishing. And that's where I've got some hats like this one here. This is on a Richardson 112. Everybody likes those Richardson 112 hats. They just fit really well, good quality hat. But I've also got shirts and hoodies and different things like that, and even decals. So if you'd like to support the channel, go over there, check some of that stuff out, and hopefully you find something you like. And until next time, good fishing.